If you stopped working tomorrow, your income would stop too. That's normal, right? But think about what that really means. It means your survival is directly tied to your physical presence, your time, your energy, your availability. And that creates pressure because time is limited. You only have so many hours in a day, so many days in a year, so many years at full strength. Yet most people build their entire financial life on something that runs out daily. Here's the problem. When income and time are fully connected, you are always one interruption away from stress. If you get sick, if work slows down, if hours get cut, if the company changes direction, your income shrinks instantly. There is no cushion inside the structure. For someone starting from zero, this feels even heavier. No savings, no backup assets, no passive flow, just hours traded for money. And at first, this seems fine. You work, you get paid, you cover bills. But look closer. Every month begins at zero again. You must sell your time again, negotiate again, show up again. Nothing works without you. This is not a character flaw. It is a structural design. You were taught how to earn, not how to separate. Let's slow this down. Separating income from time does not mean quitting your job tomorrow. It does not mean risky moves. It means building income that is not fully dependent on your presence, even partially, even slowly. Right now, your income might be 100% tied to time. That is common. But the goal is not instant freedom. The goal is gradual separation. Because once even 10% of your income is not tied directly to your hours, pressure changes. And that shift begins with understanding something simple. Income tied to time is linear. Income separated from time can become layered. Linear means more hours equals more money. Layered means past effort can still produce value. That is the difference we're exploring. But how exactly does that work? And how do you begin when you have nothing extra to invest? That's what we're breaking down next.
Let's go deeper. When income is tied to time, your growth is capped. You could only work so many hours. You could only take on so much strain. You could only push your body and mind so far. That's the ceiling. Even if you get a raise, the structure stays the same. You are still exchanging hours for money. Now, this is important. There are two types of income structures. The first is active income. You work, you get paid, you stop, it stops. The second is separated income. You work once, the result continues even when you are not present. But here's the deeper issue. Most people believe separated income requires large money, advanced skills, or special connections. That belief keeps them stuck because they never look for small ways to separate. Let's compare two people. Person A works a job and spends everything left after bills. Person B also works a job. But Person B uses small pockets of time to build something that survives beyond the shift. It could be a skill that grows in value. It could be content that keeps attracting attention. It could be a service that becomes systemized. At first, both incomes look similar. No big difference. But over time, something changes. Person A must constantly restart. Person B begins stacking. This is where most people get it wrong. They think separation means quitting. It doesn't. It means layering. Layering income means some of today's effort continues tomorrow, even in small amounts. Now think about your current situation. If you stopped working for 30 days, what money would still come in? For most people starting from zero, the answer is none. That's not failure, that's awareness. And awareness is power. Because once you see the dependency clearly, you can begin reducing it, even slowly, even with limited time, even with no extra cash. But the key is this. You must start designing effort differently, not just working harder. Working smarter is vague advice. Working for separation is specific. And that's what we move into next. How to actually begin separating income from time without gambling your stability.
Now, let's make this practical. You're starting from zero. You need your job. You need your paycheck. You cannot afford risky moves. Good. We are not removing active income. We are reducing dependence on it, slowly.
The first step is skill separation. Look at your current work. What part of it can be improved beyond your job description? Communication, problem solving, organization, technical ability. Instead of doing tasks only to finish them, do them to increase your capability. When a skill improves, it becomes portable. Portable skills are the first layer of separation. They allow you to earn outside a single employer. Now here's the reality check. Skill growth feels invisible at first. No applause, no extra money immediately. That's why most people stop, but skills compound. The second step is output storage. If you solve a problem, document how. If you build something, keep proof. If you learn something useful, organize it. Most people work and forget. That means their effort dies daily. When you store output, your past work begins serving your future. It becomes leverage for better roles, side work, or opportunities. The third step is small, scalable activity. This is not about building a giant business. It could be tutoring, freelance service, digital product, content around a skill. The key is this. Create something once that can serve more than one person. That's separation. But here's the reality check. You will feel tired. You will question if it's worth it. You will want faster results. That's normal, because active income gives instant feedback. Separated income grows quietly. At first, it might only bring small amounts, maybe very small, but it shifts your psychology. You realize money can enter your life without a clock attached, and that changes how you think. You stop feeling fully trapped. Even if 5% of income separates, the structure changes. You are no longer fully dependent. But this only works if you stay patient, because separation is built in layers. And most people quit before the layer thickens. Now let's move to the final piece, how to think about this long term so you don't sabotage your own progress.
Let's bring this into real life. Separating income from time is not a trick. It is not a shortcut. It is not a fast escape plan. It is a structural shift, and structural shifts feel slow. Here's the real-world logic. If you rely 100% on time-based income, you are always negotiating with your energy. When you are tired, income feels harder. When you are sick, income pauses. When demand drops, income shrinks. That is a fragile position. Now compare that to even partial separation. Imagine 15% of your income comes from something you built earlier, a skill-based service, a small digital product, a repeat client, content that keeps generating work. It may not be large, but it is independent of today's hours. That changes stress. It changes how you negotiate. It changes how you plan. Now, here's the reframing. The goal is not to stop working. The goal is to make your past work keep working. That's the mindset shift. Most people chase higher pay. Few redesign their structure. Higher pay still ties you to hours. Better structure reduces pressure. And here's the contrast. One person increases salary every few years but remains fully time-bound. Another person increases skills, builds small assets, and slowly layers income streams. After 5 years, both may earn similar totals, but one has options, the other has dependency. Options create confidence, dependency creates anxiety. This is not about becoming rich fast, it is about becoming less fragile, slowly, intentionally, layer by layer. You do not need to quit your job. You do not need to gamble savings. You need to start asking one question daily. Does this action increase my separation from time? If the answer is yes, even slightly, you are moving forward. If the answer is no, you are renting stability again. Keep your job, pay your bills, stay responsible, but start building something that survives without you for a few hours, then days, then weeks. That is the path. Separation begins small, then it becomes stability, and stability becomes freedom. If this shifted how you see income, the next step is learning how to turn separation into leverage. Because separation reduces pressure, leverage multiplies growth. We'll break that down next.